Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to continue my analysis of Sleep Token's album Sundowning. This is track number 3, Levitate. I'm just going to get right into it. If you remember last time, we looked at the offering, it faded out, and this is the song that immediately starts playing after the fade out is done.
And I can lift you up. Your body is mostly blood, like water, a perfect flood, engulfing me again. And I can tell you, whoa,
Very simple start here.
remember my cracking bones, the trauma we can't regrow, just as you leave again. No.
I really like the Vessel's vocals here are a little bit different than what we got on the last track where he was embellishing a lot. There are still little embellishments here at the end of phrases, but after the fever pitch that was the end of the offering, we get this kind of somber, just Vessel and a piano. He's just kind of singing it more straight. Um, to me, that kind of just gives a completely different quality instead of this pleading, kind of sounding like he's reaching out for sleep. This is kind of just a somber occasion here where, like, maybe even contemplative is the word I would use. It's different than what we heard last track for sure. I love whenever Vessel just sits down at the piano for a song. Uh, just that stripped down songwriting is incredible by them.
No. Will you levitate up where the angels inhabit? Will you levitate where I won't reach you?
He's putting a lot more just emphasis on that chorus there, letting kind of a whine come into his voice and letting things trail off like he's right on the verge of losing, basically just losing it, and kind of with sobs and things like that. It's just, you can't help but feel it.
And we imitate a story of perfect days, a ballad we fabricate as you forget your words again. No. And is that all you need?
He's starting to build here.
Merely pretend to be falling in love with me, forgetting the agony again. Will you levitate?
I'll back it up to get back into the chorus that now has some drums and some extra elements in it. I do like how this song is just slowly building. The thing that Sleep Token's really good at, just building a song up. The song structure is so solid. All they need to do is just keep adding more instrumentation, keep building. Vocals become more intense. Piano starts getting played a little bit louder. Um, he's just taking you on this journey, and I am kind of trying to look at the visualizer as we go through this. It's interesting that we're getting a lot of water imagery after the fire imagery of the last visualizer. Almost like it's kind of the cool down after, like I said, the fever pitch of the last song. Um, it kind of gets us into that like tranquil place that it seemed like that's where Vessel was trying to get to with the offering, right? He even says it, a silence on sacred shores. It feels like not that we're there, but we're closer with this song. Um, I do have to point this out. Um, I hate the spacing of these letters. Where Levitate is right here. I don't know what is going on with the kerning there. That's off topic though. Let me go ahead and get back in. It's just bothering me. This isn't a simple rhythm that's going on in the background either. It's very syncopated. You hear Vessel in the background. He's doing his kind of freestyle falsetto vocal run thing. That's always really interesting for their sound. I don't really hear vocalists doing that, so it's really interesting every time I hear it. Like I said, just building, right? Now we're getting like mountain imagery here. This is super interesting, kind of what's going on in the back. I think that rhythm is the same. The rhythm that's going on with the piano is kind of just hitting one chord and just hitting it. I think that it's the same rhythm that was going on with the drums um, in that last chorus. And of course, we're getting kind of the build into the final beat here. Everything dropped out. Now we're going back up. He's just saying, "Will you levitate?" And like the falsetto, we're about to get, kind of a sleep token ending here. Heavily syncopated, distorted guitars. One thing I do want to point out, I'll go back a little bit. The thing that kind of keeps us locked in there, even though we've got this heavily syncopated guitar part that was kind of hinted at with the rhythms and the full on chorus and the build up to this part. There's a few little piano hits that keep us, I guess, locked in or give us something to like loop, so we don't get lost in that rhythm quite as much as we otherwise might. Because the drums are kind of doing this wild. I don't think it's in a different time signature. I don't think it's in a weird time signature. I think it's just accented in a weird way so that we kind of feel a little bit lost in this crescendo at the end. But I'll kind of point out piano if you didn't hear it. So, gives us just a little bit of melody. And we're fading out on this kind of synth sounds, maybe even like a vocal distortion fade out that reminds me a lot of This Place Will Become Your Tomb, some of the kind of drowning sounds. So that's what I associate that fade out sound with, which is interesting. So the crescendo that leads into kind of the climax of this song, I pointed it out in the offering. I prefer whenever you get these like big sections like this for there to be a riff, which is not really what happened here, right? The guitar just kind of plays the rhythm, but what I will say is the rhythm is interesting. That's what saves the ending of this song for me. It kind of is interesting because we kind of feel lost in, the drumming and the rhythm with these like really nice crystal piano notes kind of giving us a little bit of melody. So I do really like the way this ends, even though it kind of contradicts what I said last time where I say, oh, I want a guitar riff. It's not really a guitar riff, it's just kind of hitting a chord over and over, right? But it's put together in such a nice way to wrap up the song. All right, so as normal, I'm gonna hop right into the lyrics here. I feel like this is a song where Vetsel's enunciations make it really easy to pick out all the lyrics on a first time listen. So you probably caught it the first time around, but let's get into it because I think there's something going on in this song that with the hindsight of listening to Take Me Back to Eden makes it a little bit more tragic, right? So at first we get this imagery, right? I can lift you up. Your body is mostly blood, like water, a perfect flood, engulfing me again. Now, this of course gives us a lot of imagery. It kind of gives us kind of this Christ imagery almost, I feel like. Because if you are unfamiliar with, I guess, Christianity in general, the idea of kind of being washed in blood is like a purifying thing. This could also, I guess, kind of get to the idea of blood on his hands, but the way he's singing this song, it feels more like maybe they're going for like kind of the purifying route instead of the blood on my hands route with this. The again, though, kind of is concerning because I don't know if that means that he feels like her blood is on his hands and he's just kind of re-experiencing it in a different way. I don't know. I wonder if there is some kind of loop going on with this trilogy where like he's going through this grief over and over, right? And I'll kind of get into, with this next part, right? It says, I can tell you won't remember my cracking bones, the trauma we can't regrow, just as you leave again. And this kind of points to the idea that there is something tragic in the background. And I think after listening to Take Me Back to Eden, this once again kind of just points to the idea that there might have been a car crash that killed Sleep, and maybe Vessel was there. The cracking bones, trauma we can't regrow. The idea that he's trying to forget it, or he's trying to keep Sleep from remembering that. So they can be together without that trauma. It's kind of some heavy stuff there, kind of in my interpretation. And in hindsight, looking at Sundowning, the idea that Sleep is his dead, ex-lover that he's trying to reach out to makes more sense when we get to the chorus. Will you levitate up where the angels inhabit? Will you levitate where I won't reach you? And we get, this idea that maybe he's in denial about her being gone, really. Like, she's not there yet. She hasn't levitated past his reach yet. He's still holding on to her as best he can, but it's clear that this is not sustainable when we get into verse 2, right? We imitate a story of perfect days, a ballad we fabricate as you forget your words again. Like, she's not quite her. She's not quite real, right? Which is something we see a lot of in Taking Back to Eden. This idea that he's trying to bring her back, but it's not really her, right? It's something in his head that is keeping him from letting her go, and he's fabricating her, right? And then, is that all you need to merely pretend to be falling in love with me? Forgetting the agony again. So I think that a lot of this has to be with this denial, this trying to forget what has happened. We see the forgetting here, and the idea of, I can tell you won't remember, right? Pretending for just a moment that everything is back how it was before she inevitably, returns to where the angels inhabit, or how I kind of maybe could interpret this as well is, if we think back to the night does not belong to God, the angels are associated with sunrise, right? The light of the sunrise. So once the ritual is over for the night, she's going to leave, right? And that's kind of this constant push and pull of Sleep Token's discography, I think, is this: she's here, she's gone, she's here, she's gone. She'll never stay because he can't quite hold on to her because she's not here anymore. This is the only way he can connect with her. So this song definitely has a lot more going on after listening to Take Me Back to Eden, a lot more significance, I think. Because I thought it was just very poetic the first time I listened to it. But it seems a little bit more on the nose that she is no longer here, where the angels inhabit, like in heaven, if you will. But that's my analysis of Levitate. It is kind of the classic Sleep Token formula, right? This is the third song on the album. You start to see the formula start to arise, which of course they're going to kind of subvert it. But these three songs so far have kind of had the let's start low, let's build it, and then let's get some like crazy climactic ending. Bring all the guitars in and all that. But yeah, that's all I have to say about Levitate. I guess I will kind of talk about this sigil before I go. It kind of looks to me maybe like... This one's really hard to tell, quite honestly. It looks like we still have kind of like the offering hand, if you can kind of see it there. Maybe this is some kind of device that will like cause whoever this is. This looks vaguely human-like to me. Maybe like there's a foot, maybe there's a hand kind of lifting them up. I don't know. This one's a little bit more vague for me. But let me know what you think. Maybe you guys know more about the sigils than I do. I know there's people who are more into that kind of, what will I say, like, not paranormal, but you know what I mean, like into like the spirit summoning stuff. Maybe you've looked into it more than I have. But let me know in the comments, and I will see you on the next one.